Nice. Oh, welcome to the Smithfield Planning Board meeting for Thursday, June 20th, 2024. Before we begin, the emergency evacuation notification. In case of emergency, there are two main exits out of the chambers. The first is to the left side of the stage, up the stairs, through the doorway, and down the stairway, out the back side of the town hall. The second is out the back of the chambers, the exit doorway to the stairway, out the front of town hall. Men's facilities are through the back of the chambers, past the stairway, around the corner on the right. The ladies' facilities are through the back door of the chamber, straight up the stairs, and on the left. Please do not use the elevator in times of emergency. Initially, a review of the minutes from the meeting of May 16th, 2024. Any changes, additions, comments?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All not in favor? The ayes have it. Regular agenda, old business none, new business. 365 George Washington Highway LLC, ID 2401, public hearing for Unified Development Review.
Hi, folks.
Hello. Are you waiting for anyone or
Just me.
whenever you're ready?
Not sure where to start. I've been before you folks, I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago. I think it was last time I came in here for a preliminary. I have a small commercial building I'm looking to put on three. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Identify yourself.
Yeah, hang one second. Is the microphone working?
Can you hear me?
That's right.
All right.
Can you identify yourself initially?
All right, Jared Nunes, 10 Kristen Drive, Greenville.
And we're here today on your matter for Unified Development Review. My understanding is as part of that, you're looking for certain relief.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And um, one of the reliefs requested is a side yard requirement of 40 feet, proposed side yard 15 feet with relief requested 25 feet. Front yard requirement 100, proposed front yard 25 feet, relief requested 75 feet. Is that correct?
That is right.
Are you looking for any other zoning relief other than those two?
No.
And if you could briefly give us an overall of the project again.
It's a small, single-use, commercial building. It's going to house a small office for my business and a warehouse area. I'm going to store products for, projects that I do. It's a construction business. We do utility work, so it's going to be mostly storage.
Have there been any changes to any of your plans or proposals since you came before us last?
No, I have submit to DEM. There is a wetlands permit that I'm waiting for this property. It's been submit to DEM. I haven't gotten any comments back on that. So they did acknowledge the receipt of it and they're reviewing it now, but I don't have anything else to share with you guys on that yet. Obviously it would be pending that approval, before I could do any actual building there.
Anything else that you'd like to add other than the filings you've made?
I have nothing, unless you have questions or.
The board may have some questions.
I just, if I remember correctly, you had a business in Warwick, right, or West Warwick?
West Warwick.
Okay, and you're moving it to town.
Yes.
So that was, what kind of business was it again?
It's a construction company. We do a lot of utility work. This building would house regularly about 3 employees. But it would service, my business as a whole has about 23, so.
Right, and this is gonna be home base now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the intent. I mean, I live about 2 miles
Right.
or so from this site, so it's just gonna be much more convenient for,
Yeah, it makes sense. I just wanted to make sure I was remembering. the plan correctly.
that's correct.
No more questions from me.
Any other questions of board members? Any other questions of board members before we open up for public comment? Okay, you can have a seat. We're going to open it up for public comment to the extent there is any.
Thank you.
It's now 6:06. We'll open the matter up for public comment. Anyone who'd like to be heard, please come forward and state your name. With no one coming forward, we're going to close the public comment section at 6:06. Any discussion of the board members before any motions?
I'll make a motion to approve the requested zoning relief and incorporate the documents submitted.
Okay. We should set forth in the motion the actual relief requested as well as the 3 elements below.
Sure. I make a motion to relieve the applicant of a 25-foot relief on the side yard, a 75-foot relief on the front yard, based on the applicant meeting the 3 required standards, that there was a hardship. The hardship is not a result of any prior action of the applicant, and that granting the requested variance will not alter the general character and surrounding of the area, and incorporate the documents submitted therein. Did I miss anything?
2 and 3.
Of? No, I got him.
You got all 3?
I paraphrased.
All right. All right.
Hardship is not his fault. It will not alter the character of the surrounding area.
Okay.
Also, I mean, Chairman, Counselor, the applicant seeks relief due to the unique characteristics of the land. That's.
Agreed,
As amended.
as amended. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All not in favor? The ayes have it. Turning to the preliminary plan approval. Any discussion of the board members regarding the preliminary plan? No? Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the preliminary plan. As all the documents related to it and with the condition that the RIDM wetlands permit is approved. So that's the only thing missing that I know.
And soil erosion? Necessary?
I don't know that that's, it wouldn't be here
Okay.
if you need soil erosion.
Do we need to mark as any exhibits? Council? No.
The documents entered into the record already.
Perfect. Do we have a second?
Second.
All,
Chairman. Final Egan, final plan approval be handled administratively.
Amended.
do we have a second of the amendment?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All not in favor? The ayes have it. You're all set. Yeah, you get some. Lines, 29 East Prospect ID 2402. Public hearing for Unified Development Review.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We're here tonight
Can
to
you state your name, please?
Pasquale Scavidi for Kevin Kleins,
Thank you.
and we're here tonight to request a minor subdivision of the current parcel to 3 lots, 2 which will be subdivided into conforming residential lots, and the 3rd lot would be deeded to the town as open space. That's the one to the leftmost, if you have maps in front of you. The 3rd most lot would be the one that would be deeding to the town in respect of the approval of the 2 residential lots that we're contemplating.
So the one to the left on the map, that's the one.
All the way to the left would be the one that would be deeded to the town as open space, or whatever the town finds suitable for it.
In part of the unified review, you're also seeking variances.
To the extent of the frontage, we've explained that in the presentation in our application. And we've expanded the radius of the entry area to access fire apparatus and the like.
Some of the documents I saw looked, you're looking for a reduction of the frontage requirement from 200 feet
To
126.
120, yes, sir.
And on parcel, that's parcel A, and on parcel B from 200 feet to 115, which is a relief request of 85 feet.
That's correct. And in addition to that, we'll be, we're in negotiations with an abutter relative to a sewer easement for the first lot, and there's going to be a septic system on the second lot.
When you say first lot, A,
A is the one to the rightmost side.
is that what you're saying is the first lot?
Yes. My apologies.
That's it, that's okay. And, the middle one is B?
Yes. And C would be the one that would be deeding to the town.
Anything else you would like to present?
No, I think it's pretty forthright. If there's any questions that any of the committee members have, I'd be happy to address those.
Questions of the board members?
I have a question, sorry.
Yes.
What is the reason for leaving parcel C to the town? Not like I'm opposed to it, just curious. as to-
Common
is it
courtesy,
buildable, or is it something that you just want to do?
just common courtesy.
So it is buildable
I'm,
to your
we have
knowledge?
no interest in it.
Okay, okay. So the reason I ask that question is because,
If the town doesn't have any interest in it, we can certainly continue to pay taxes on it.
no. The reason I ask is because I don't want it to later down the line not be open space. I'm wondering if donating it to the land trust or something where it's definitely preserved might be something that you're interested in doing.
No, whatever the
Okay.
town would like to do with it is fine with us.
Okay,
I think it abuts preservation area, if
Does
I'm
it?
not wrong.
do you know which one? If you were.
I'd be
It's a hard
remiss,
question.
I'd be remiss to say,
Okay, and then can you, if you can, explain the driveway positioning on for A and B? I'm having a hard time reading the map.
it was basically an
coming
old
in?
cattle road, basically. And we're building a cul-de-sac for a turnaround for apparatus to get in there in the event that they have to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So it's coming off of East Prospect,
yes,
and it's a cul-de-sac on the top for just the two homes?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay,
And the easement's been there forever, and there's a utility easement there right now, but we're gonna get a sewer easement from one of the abutters that we're negotiating with right now to access Lot A, if you will.
mm-hmm,
Lot B will have septic. And the
okay,
third lot, whatever you all decide to do with it is fine with us.
okay.
The proposed driveway for lot B would be where?
To the left of the easement. You see where the easement is
So
going in?
would that require the driveway to go through parcel A?
No. And to the extent that it had to, we would give them an easement for access, an access easement that would run with the land. But I don't believe that's necessary.
When you say to the left of the easement, are you talking this one here?
No, up further.
Oh, are you talking about the utility easement?
No, the utility easement's coming in from the right side.
So the access easement you're talking about?
Yeah, it's an access easement,
Okay.
not a utility easement there.
So it is the one. I think you put.
This one
It's-
here?
It's the one,
The
that you're-
access,
yeah,
yeah.
it's the access easement to the left of this.
That's all the way to the right, right? The access, the utility easement's all the way to the right. You can see the utility easement there.
Correct.
The access easement is pretty much right up the middle.
Yep, okay,
Oh, I see it. They got a proposed cul. I was looking at that one.
mm-hmm,
And we're gonna pave that as well for the benefit of any potential homeowners and for the benefit of the town for access with any emergency vehicles.
and it looks like is this a 20-foot easement?
It is,
Okay, so it's a little tight.
well, that's the code, right? So,
Here's,
Go ahead, Charlie.
I got a question for Lee.
sure, of course.
What you just brought up about the size of the road, they say the difference in the size of what the easement is and what you're going to do.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
measurements on the road. It says 25 versus 20. Wait, I'm talking about the easement, the size of the road, what is, it's supposed to be maintained at 25, not.
If you need it to be 25, we'll make it 25. That's okay. The gentleman who owns the property is a paving company, KCI Paving out of Smithfield, so
Well,
I'm sure he can
I'd like to
accommodate.
see a lot of these things checked off, not just we're gonna take care.
No, I mean, we're not trying to, like,
That's illegal, this, that's a legal piece of paper here, and it says.
I mean,
There's a
it
5
says,
foot
it
difference.
says it requires 20 feet, so.
Yeah, and what, what do you think?
So the easement area has to be 25 feet. How they develop that 25 feet? If they wanted to put 20 feet, then permissible, if they want to keep it 20 feet, and 2.5 feet on each side of the easement. So they remain consistent, the width has to remain 25 feet. The bigger board's concern that has to be addressed is they need private permission from all the people that are.
That was my second question.
Because this is now expanding the intention of that easement.
That's-
That easement was to access one lot.
That was a town easement, right? That was a town.
Yeah, but
Right.
what we're saying is that this thing says it's for an easement for one lot back there. You're making two.
Yes,
So this is not void. That you're not, you can't use this for the excuse for the easement for two, only for one.
if an easement is
Is it
granted,
not? Is it not?
if an easement is
Well, that's
granted,
why I'm saying, I'm not a lawyer. That's why I'm asking. And he's brought this.
well, you can speak to your
Yeah.
solicitor. I don't want to speak
That's
for
what I'm
him.
saying. There is some shady area there that we can be responsible for, especially if somebody's here wants to fight it.
The combination of all the people that you pass over, that you now can pass over with another lot.
Yeah, my opinion. I'm no lawyer, but I think there's a problem.
There's no other individuals in that
Oh.
area. It's the town specifically, if I'm not correct.
Each project. We love. Oh, that's not true.
Was not true.
There's 3 lots. It looks
What?
like there's an owner. Raymond Weaver.
It looks like it's church.
So it's gonna be even more.
Tristan Loan LLC. Christian Development. And then the town. So there's 4 potential owners.
Hmm.
That are gonna have to get, I believe, for purposes of expanding the easement, we have to get.
Like I said, I think it's something that should definitely, I agree. I think it should be looked into, and it's a tough,
So. For purposes of that easement, it's expansion, that easement's from 1919. What we're gonna say. Can't include the vehicle because they were private, a lot of something brought into their driveway. But once you expand that lot, and break it into further lots.
it's a whole different ballgame.
In 1950.
1950.
Does it expanded if the lot A is granting access easement to it?
Yeah, because there was no lot. If lot A, in 1915, if lot A said to the person who was getting the easement, I'm gonna put something else in, they probably would have had to discuss it. To do more.
Like if they was,
My understanding was 20 feet was adequate, but if I'm wrong, yeah.
The intent of the easement was for an access to this one lot. Now that there's gonna be access for that easement to get to other lots or more. Intensification. More intensification, instead of expansion of the easement. It's not that the board can't approve it, but there's going to need to be.
An expansion of the easement.
Gonna have to get- gonna have to create the expansion.
I understand. I understand. No, I understand. I'm not trying to be obstinate.
two lawyers in a room, they're gonna come up with two
But,
different.
yeah, you can't get two people to agree on lunch, never mind anything else, yeah, so.
Go ahead, Charlie.
I got one more question. I was talking about the fire department has, I like to do a site work. If we gotta take a walk, take a look at the site because it seems to be a little complicated. My understanding there's a grade problem too.
It's 7 and 14.
I'm just saying what the fire department thinks.
Yeah, from what I was told through various members of the town, that they can get sufficient vehicles up there to suppress any fires that at 14%.
I would just like to make a suggestion to the board that we do a site so we can make a look at it.
Okay,
So I can see what everybody's talking about.
okay.
Yeah, I would just like to make sure we, take a vote on whether to do a site work, just answer some of these questions.
No, I understand completely.
once it's
I
done-
know, no, I want it to be right.
Oh, me too, thank you. That's all. I'm not picking.
Yeah, I just want it to be right.
What's the general impression of Charlie's suggestion for a site view?
As soon as possible.
I think at this stage that we're in, it might be better to like get more solid plans with our suggestions. I don't know, it's up to the board.
When you say more solid plans, what do you mean?
So determine whether or not if permission needs to be given by other abutters for the easement. If so, if that permission is granted. Because if it's not granted, then the entire project would need to be basically modified.
Right.
So to visit at this point I think we should wait on the visit if we even do a visit at all. Also, alternatively, just kind of thinking out loud, like what if site A gave site B access?
That's what we were planning to do.
So but that's not how it's drafted because right now the easement gives site,
Well, we haven't drafted the deed because it hasn't been
no,
approved.
not a deed, like site A with the way the radius of the cul-de-sac is, it goes in both site A and site B. But if it was in site A only and then site A gave B access, I don't know if that's an issue with the easement. Is that it also is,
It does not change.
it doesn't change the easement?
Doesn't change the name.
Okay,
The parcel before this
just thought you
proposal
could get around it that way, maybe.
was A, B, and C together. So presumably, this easement was granted to the entire
Parcel.
parcel.
One lot.
Right. It's still, the intent was for the entirety of that. You make a valid point about the change in use. That would be my only concern, but if the easement was given to the entire lot to begin with, there's really not so much an affront unless the usage of that easement was totally changed. That,
But what I'm looking at is from the standpoint of, you grant
I agree.
this person an easement, he says, thank you. And then 2 years later says, oh, by the way, I'm breaking this lot into 6 pieces, thanks for that easement. And you say, wait a minute, I didn't give you the easement for 6 people, I gave you the easement for you. You should have told me you were gonna do 6. Correct. It's a little different because we're talking 105 years ago. Well, 110 years ago.
And with all due respect, it couldn't be broken into 6 parcels anyway.
But the concept, same, which is it was an easement to access to that shop. Not to that parcel to have 3 lots.
The intention of the two parties was, they thought there was only gonna be one there.
And it's
If
not,
they had one, more than one, they would have said, it can be subdivided, blah, blah. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I looked at this frontwards, backwards, sideways and everything. I thought about everything. She's trying to help you, but I still think what he's saying, protect everything that we get it, you get the.
But what-
We just want to do it right. That's all we want to do. We
wouldn't
have
the easement run with the land though?
It does.
so it's not that it can't be done, you just have to ask the other subservient properties and say, this is what we're doing, we're gonna use the easement you granted us, it's now gonna be for.
Well, it's certainly good practice to prevent any problems.
Right.
So,
That's my.
yeah.
So the question is, do we table to see if that permission or do we grant subject to?
you can do either. You'd probably be better off tabling to see what. Okay, for doing it, so that.
But I will say for the record that I don't have issues with the plan as proposed as a whole. I think just some of these technical issues
Sure.
is what's getting me down. But
Understood.
the plan itself, I have no problem with. I personally appreciate the donation to open space. I think part of it is a frontage issue and that's why you're doing it.
Well,
I'll take it regardless.
I took it under advisement,
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the open space at town regardless of how it gets here.
and there's no tax associated with that
Yeah,
either.
we know the plan, but I mean, I think having some extra open space is always good for town.
So from the board's perspective, you still are on the time to make a decision without needing an extension from the applicant.
If you want to table it and continue it, that's okay too.
All right.
No, we'll table it. How about the public hearing if people are here today?
You should comment, let them comment now, so the applicant still has the right to hear. And then you move to continue it to the next meeting and all public here has notice of that next week.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
So-
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're not done yet. We're gonna. So it's 6:29. We're gonna open the matter for public comment. To the extent anyone would like to make up public comment, please come forward stating your name.
You say table for 6.9?
Not yet.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is James Brooker. I live at 75 Woodland Avenue, which abuts this property, as a, number 131. Brooker, B-R-U-C-K-E-R. I haven't seen any of these plans, so I don't know what's going on, but the first thing is they've already changed my marks from when I had my property surveyed 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I tried to get a subdivision in there so I could give my part of that property to my son. The town wouldn't let me do it. They only let me put one house on there. I got more acreage than that property does.
Well, that's a little bit of a different issue than we're here before today. I don't know what the facts and circumstances were 20 years ago of the proposal, and it's tough for us to be able to comment on that. We can only comment on what's before us today.
Okay, the thing is with I'm gonna have to hire another surveyor to make sure these guys put the right lines in there, because they've already moved the property lines.
Affecting your property line, you believe?
Yes,
Certainly, that's something you could take up with,
What are you talking about, this discussion of the rebar that was set on it? You don't think the rebar was,
rebar.
you're saying, what do you think was moved, the rebar or the whole?
I'm supposed to have a straight line. The way they got it surveyed, they got the line coming up and then it's going off to another angle. And it's taking part of my neighbor's property too.
Sorry, I'm not sure which piece of property.
Yeah. Is it 71 down here, the bottom?
He's at the top.
On the top.
Well, I'm sure a survey will be done, you know.
It's already been surveyed. They already got stakes and everything up there.
Which,
Is that affecting anything on it?
this one?
Yeah, a little.
The top big.
The big one right with your fingers, yes.
Gotcha. So, tell us again what you believe was done wrong with the survey?
I don't know what was done wrong, but they surveyed it and now the line was changed. From here to up here, they got a mark, and then it comes down over here. No, they didn't go straight. They came up on an angle, and they put the mark, my line over here. That's my neighbor's, that's his mark. But they shortened it up over here or something for him, so they're coming down here. It's supposed to be a straight line, but it doesn't look like a straight line because they're way up in here and then it's going back way down there.
That's the side effect thing.
Yes.
Just something to do, that's not.
Oh, you can't see through it. Because I'm just going, when it doesn't.
mean
Point,
it doesn't-
put the point in, so the corner mark. And then it goes down to over here, from the corner mark.
It's still buildable.
Should be. So it's-
So you're gonna have, what you discussed, you're gonna have to make a point of that. So you can explain it there, not correct.
Okay.
Maybe if you could hold it up and point to it might be helpful.
Corner put, mark they put in was over here. The second one came down this way. Didn't go straight across.
Oh, I see what he's talking about. He's talking, it's like this.
Okay.
That's a big difference.
That's a big,
But that's what I mean. Now I have to hire another surveyor to come in and make sure that they did it right. Or that
Oh,
they did something wrong.
I was trying to figure, that's a big difference you're talking about. That's almost, that's a quarter of the lot. Wow.
so it's this area over here.
Yeah, it's that area.
It's not, it's not like this.
No, no. It's up here. It's that corner,
Yeah.
this corner?
Yeah, I was going straight this way, you're saying. That's still.
No, but still, there's an issue.
This was really. This is the house. That's a big difference.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, just to make sure everyone's talking to the mic.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it one at a time. We're talking to you.
Mr. Chairman, can we ask Mr. Klein when this was surveyed and who did the survey?
Yes, I believe we have his representative today. If you could stand up and,
That's a different fact.
Yes.
if you could push over, sir, 1 second, we have a particular question that we're gonna ask.
Yes, Canavan and Associates,
Approximately one.
certified surveyors. They surveyed it most recently, but they're not the ones who devised this plat map.
This plat map's dated January 31st, 2024 by Martin Canavan.
Right, but this was taken off of
Something else?
duplicate of something else.
Approximately when was it surveyed that Mr. Canavan took this
It
information?
was bought back in 2022.
Okay,
And I'm not sure who did that. I can't speak to that, unfortunately.
okay.
But I'm not sure why that's an issue now, if he thought something was surreptitious prior to that.
Okay.
I can't speak to
We'll,
that.
we'll get back to you. I just want, the board members had a question and we want to get back to the public hearing. Thank you. So any other issues that you'd like to bring to the board's
Yes.
attention?
I think the fire department should be involved in this because the people that lived there before, their house burned down because the fire department couldn't get up and put it out.
Okay.
Which house, sir? On A?
No, there's no house because it was burnt down.
What was it though?
It was on 5A.
Okay. Well, and what year was that?
Could have been 10 to 12 years ago. It was a long time, but the house just sat there and was burnt out and was never cleaned up.
That's why I don't think it's right there. I heard a lot, I did a lot of investigation on it.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you for your time.
There is a reference to an administrative subdivision on this plan, to administrative subdivision done for Mr. Bruckner's property. So there are references to
a survey that was done of his property, so I'm assuming that, you know, they've used all that data from that subdivision. So.
Any other further members of the public that would like to be heard?
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Thomas Johnson from 82 Woodland Avenue. 82 Woodland,
Okay, 82 Woodland?
yes, which is adjacent to Mr. Brooker. And
He is right between Woodland Ave and. that
Yeah.
little square.
Go ahead,
Ye-
sir.
yes, and the surveyor did the same thing as far as property line. He moved from the point that when I purchased the property, he moved it down like I didn't measure it, something like 6 feet into my property. And basically, that's what I'm here for as far as this matter.
So you believe the survey that was performed on behalf of the applicant is inconsistent with your understanding of your property line by
Yes,
approximately 6 feet?
yes, somewhere in that.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
Not on that matter, no.
Thank you, sir.
You. Oh, excuse me. I did forget something. As far as our neighbor that lost their house, they don't have any, fire protection up there as far as, hookups for fire hoses and whatnot. His house burned completely down. I sat there and watched it, so
Thank you.
that's an issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Raymond Church, my wife Lisa. We live at 16 East Prospect Street, and we also own the property for 20 East Prospect Street, which is first lot that they traverse through. So we're just here for concerns on that property up top. Regarding the fire, we believe it was back in 2004 that house burned down, and nothing's happened since that time.
Any other concerns that you have?
I would echo the concern of council that it's expanding the scope of the original easement. I've lived in the property at 16 East Prospect Street since 1969. It's been in my family a generation before that. So I would concur with the position of the council that it expands an easement that's been there for a long time.
Does the easement go through your property?
We own 20 East Prospect Street. We live at 16, 20 is not, it's a vacant lot.
It's currently a vacant lot of 20.
It cuts right through 20. Can we just, was the discussion of the 20 versus the 25, was that an expansion of that pavement? We weren't clear on that. We didn't see the math. We don't really know much about it. When the discussion between 20 and 25 feet, is that regarding that?
So the discussion regarding the 20 to 25 feet is the proposed project would have a 20-foot wide asphalt area for the vehicles to pass. The actual easement on record from 2015 is 25 feet wide.
Thank you.
So this particular easement that we're talking about, in order to get access to these lots, would have to go right through your property. Yeah.
Can you explain just where your home is located on this map? Like, where's your driveway? It's on East Prospect.
So our driveway where we live right now is currently 16 East Prospect.
Okay.
We also own the lot 20 East Prospect, which is vacant currently, and which is where that easement goes through.
And is that up?
That's the lot. Yeah.
Okay.
It cuts through that other lot that we own.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public? Any other members of the public that would like to be heard?
Scott Ringland, 8 Tristan Court. So I know a lot about this property because I'm one of the abutters that put the plat in next door. It is zoned R80, which is several acres, and I know the original owner, Mike, did want to leave it to his 2 boys, but when he passed away, they decided to sell it. So the access that goes up there, and I'm just saying this because I don't want to see this whole thing blow apart, because I think there's going to be 2 nice houses up there. The access that goes up there was for 1 house. I don't think they really have to expand on the width of the road. The town has always plowed that road that goes up there. In fact, the town actually paved that. I used to live at 25 East Prospect and I owned Lacey Court. So that easement goes across several of my lots well as the town lots. I think the ones that are impacted the most are 20 East Prospect because they actually lose the use of their entire lot. So I think for this to go forward, the developer should reach out to them and talk to them about however he sees fit to make it happen. The town, I think, would give them an easement. And I know I own the lot on Lacey Court that they're going to cross, and the house I sold and built goes across his as well. And both of us are fine with them going across the properties. He's not here, but I'm sure he would have no problem signing it. The people that are also over here, Mr. Gregoire, I sold him lot 1 on Lacey Court. And that utility easement that you see on the paper is for National Grid. When I bought that property years ago, National Grid had an overhead power easement. I paid for them to get rid of it and I gave them an underground utility easement to that lot. So there is a handhold for power and communications that goes across through lot 1 and lot 2, which lot 2 is sold and lived in. So the utility easement for sewer would be going across the lot I own, which I've spoke to the owner, Kevin Kleins. We're willing to work it out together and I'll give them a sewer easement because originally I put a sewer lateral in for that land because I was going to buy it from Mike before he passed away. But after he passed, the sons wouldn't sell it to me. So there's a lateral there for that first house. So I think overall, I don't want to see this whole thing blow up because I think it's a nice project. And I know the company that wants to buy it is from South Kingston and they want to build 2 big houses. So I think on the record, going forward, that they should reach out to all the owners of properties they're crossing. I have no problem giving him the sewer easement. We're going to iron that detail out. But they are expanding on that. And again, 20 East Prospect, that whole lot is shot. I mean, they can't build on it anyway. They lose half the lot, but he should reach out to them. I think everybody should agree to expand on the uses of these. But it is R80, 2 acre minimum, and there's almost 5 acres up there. So it's a good use of space. I know that last acre is being given to the town, which will be added to a piece of land that the town owns up there, just to kind of square things off. So it all does make sense. And I think it's good to do 1 or 2 houses up there. I don't think they're asking for a lot, but I do think to approve this thing that before it goes any further, that all the expansion of the easement and the usage of that easement should be addressed so that all the local people feel comfortable with that.
Did you say the sewer easement? Utility easement?
No, that's strictly for National Grid. So National Grid doesn't like sewer and they're like 20-foot wide, literally run right across, right down the lot line on my property, not Mike's property.
So where's going to be a sewer?
So the sewer is gonna come up to my property right there. The church. There's a lateral already there that I put in for the swap originally. And we were accepting it. So that lateral is there. And it's actually right, kind of almost in line with run.
Wait a minute, please.
It covers my lot, but I planned on that already.
No, churches.
So.
Where do you think it is?
I'm answering.
Okay. Do you know why sewer's not being done with the B parcel that's been referred to as?
So it's an 1.25 inch lateral. It's the service for 1 lot. The system is designed that way. When I put that sewer service in and built that flat years ago, that's how Kevin Cleary wanted it. He felt that the sewer system could only handle 6 laterals up there. There's 5 for the 5 lots that I built. And then there's 1 that I extended on, that I had put in to service that house that was up there in the future. And I know the house burnt down. The house I built on, has a sprinkler system in the house. So the fire department does allow you to put your own in-home sprinkler system. It adds a greater cost to it. You got to put a generator. There is a hydrant right at the top of East Prospect Street. It's just low pressure. So it literally sits right there at the end of where that easement starts, but it was only 30 or 35 pounds. It was very low. So the fire department felt that it wasn't a great source of water. But I know Providence Water took over that system, and East Smithfield Water is kind of out. So they're making improvements, and I think over time you'll see more pressure there. But there is a hydrant there. But you can, again, if they're going to build a big house to spend $25,000 on a home sprinkler system, a lot of people are doing that. Doesn't mean it's not buildable. The grade, I can't tell you about the grade. They'd have to be comfortable driving up and down that, but I know it's just him doing it all the time. So.
Well, that was what my question was going to be, how you feel about that grade, but you don't want to make a comment on it.
Well, in all honesty, the town kind of needs that easement because the town has no place to push the snow as they go up East Prospect. So the town, I believe years ago, improved that and paved that easement.
Oh, I worked for the town, we did that.
And they drive right up there and push the snow. And in fact, when I lived at East Prospect, my daughter rode the little bus to school, so they had to turn the bus around. So they improved and actually made a turnaround area up top for the plow guys. So, but I mean, the fire guys aren't going to care. They'll fly right up that road. I mean, it's not bad. It's paved. It's plenty wide enough. But that's for them to, for their comment.
So from that, you're like myself, you're familiar with the road.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it too.
Yep. Yeah, it's nice. It's nicely paved. I mean, it was, wasn't,
But the water pressure is very low there. Too.
it is. I think when I had it tested, it didn't even hit 25, but it's gone up.
It's like 18.
It's gone up like 10 or 15 pounds since they've improved the system over there. It's just an old 6-inch transite line, so it's not even a big line. So that's why I put wells in, because I didn't have enough pressure to bring up the plow.
Pushed it even further up, trying to get it a little bit up that road a little bit. They couldn't get it. They did try.
So they would have to put their pump truck there at the end and then run the line up the hill, but again, I don't think you can stop somebody from putting in a sprinkler system in their own house if they does meet the requirements.
Yeah, so it's like I said, so it's the fire, my concern, Scott, is just like what the fire department said to me about it. And, and that this year about the 25 feet. And
Yeah, I thought the easement was 20 foot wide. I mean, I do remember that. It was a,
well, it says in here that it shall be maintained the 25. In other words, you have to, according to this, whoever uses that road has to maintain 25 feet.
25 feet. Usually for a private road or a driveway, 18 feet is
No, I understand that, but this.
plenty enough.
This is what the agreement was to everybody on there, so it's this is just a legal.
Out so two horse carriages can pass each other.
It gets straightened out. I think you'd want it straightened out.
Yeah, no, I think it's important that it's straightened out. You are expanding on the use of the easement. It was granted as a cart path to repass for horses. And so, but I think if all those T's are crossed and dies, you dot all your I's, it's right. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comment from the public? With no further comment, public hearing is closed at before closing public comment. Okay. With that being said, is the intent that we're going to table this given the easement issues?
Yes, and I think
Yeah.
that would roll over the public hearing as well, correct?
Yes, and keep the public hearing open, for the continuance to the next meeting, for further evidence and further public comment based on that further evidence.
Then make a decision on the site plan.
And then make a decision at that point, assuming the issues with the easement is clear to everyone's satisfaction.
So I'll make the motion to table the agenda item as well as the public hearing to the next meeting.
Second.
Let's get the date.
Is it July 29th? Is that what you said? Did someone say the 29th? July 18th. To July 18th. So I'll make a motion, I'm just gonna repeat it. So I'll make a motion to table the agenda item as well as the public hearing to July 18th, which is the next planning board meeting for further evidence and further discussion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All not in favor? The ayes have it.
Mr. Chair, you can let the public notice their notes.
Okay, and this will be the public notice of the right to attend the next hearing. There'll be no separate public notice. So please feel free to come at the next hearing. Okay, the next matter is Maury Hill Commons, ID 18-007. Recommendation on whether the proposed modification is a minor modification that can be approved administratively by the administrative officer.
Good, sir, go ahead.
Good evening. I'll just do a brief overview on this. The Maui, some of the board members were here for this when this went through preliminary plan and master plan. It was originally proposed as a mixed-use development with a residential component, some office and retail. And there was going to be 3 off-site LMI units constructed. The developer has, given the economic climate, has, taken another tact on it and wanted to do a modification that would eliminate the residential component. And our regulations have a provision for modifications, either major or minor. I deemed it to be a minor modification, and there is also a provision for me to get a recommendation from the board as to whether it can be done so as a minor or major. The difference really being the need for a public hearing, as you would at preliminary plan. The project, in my mind, is being scaled down. Buildings are going to be smaller. The pavements and, the drainage are going to be reduced. There were 2 driveways before, now there's going to be 1 driveway out under 116. So that's essentially my reasoning, is that I believe it could be done as a minor because they are scaling back the development. So I'll leave it to you. If you see fit otherwise, then it would come back to you as a public hearing.
Any discussion of the board members regarding the request?
Yeah, I respectfully disagree with the planner. I believe this is a major change in that this was a residential and commercial mixed use development that had quite a bit of discussion and presentation before the board, had extensive coordination with the neighbors who were concerned about the possible commercial uses that were part of the original plan, and that the original plan approval, which I believe was master plan, had residential in it. This is now all strictly commercial. Also, I'm concerned about the uses that possibly might be part of this strictly commercial development, in that the original plan had residential, which possibly had a calming effect on what type of commercial development could be part of the development. Also, the major our regulations outline what a minor change is, and the major changes quote that it's this is not completely contrary to the original approval, but it is a major change in it, and that it drops the residential.
Any further comments? While I generally defer to the planner and often rely on his advice and recommendations, I think Mr. Moen has made a good point, and perhaps we err on caution before proceeding.
I might add, Mr. Chairman, that we did have residents from the community in here on at least 2 occasions for this original master plan approval that were concerned about the development. I don't see him here tonight.
You know what their names were?
No, I don't recall, but I'm sure it's part of the record.
So the concern is the switch from mixed use to commercial use is you're classifying as major? Is that?
Yes, yes, that's it. It's dropping the residential component of it altogether. And as far as I know, there's still a great demand for residential units in this state.
Well, parties have no obligation just because there's a demand. That's.
No, they don't, of course, but it does mention a change in market as one of the reasons. I don't completely understand it, but
This was reviewed correct by the planning department.
yes,
It's your opinion that it's a minor change?
yes.
All right, well, that's fine with me then.
No, and, you know, I can't disagree with Mike that there, you know, certainly we're doing not really a change of use, but, you know, we're eliminating a residential use, but it is still considered a mixed use because there's going to be a mix of office and, you know, other commercial kind of space for contractors and such. So, and my feeling was that the eliminating the residential component would reduce the amount of potential conflicts you're going to have there.
So,
This is why the planner put it before you as a board.
Yep.
Because although he has his opinion, we wanted to make sure he had. Board.
Yep.
and I don't necessarily disagree with him. But when one board member has a question that is posed legitimately, I'm wondering if we should err on the side of caution as opposed to not. That's my only comment.
That's why, that's why.
Say it one more time.
Yes, the chair is correct. That he wants to err on the side of caution, the board has the right to say this is a major, come back, show us exactly what to do.
Could somebody, Michael, could you run this board through what exactly is a flex building? Flex space?
It's basically a lot, we approved a flex building on, West Reservoir Road, the one near Special Olympics. It's basically just a building that has the ability to be divided in different spaces. You know, that building there similarly had bay doors in the back, but it had also office space and, you know, other kind of commercial space up front. And it's specifically something that's listed in the growth overlay as an allowable use.
The discussion of board members, what's the general consensus?
Yeah, well, although it is a smaller footprint, it seems significantly different. And then it is in the use. I know it's not a change of use, but I think there's a lot of details that we'd like to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Seems like the consensus, or at least the consensus of the people the board members who just spoke on the issue, appears that we should err on the side of caution and not proceed with an administrative approval. So,
Mr. Chairman, just
For the record, I don't think this is major at all. It's just, the major thing about developments in town, people don't protest commercial use like they protest residential use. Like, this to me is a positive change, and it's not, I mean, I'm not gonna die on the hill, but I just feel like it's not a major change it's less controversial, less extensive, less traffic, less everything. So it's not major. It doesn't require, it's to the point where it would require an additional public hearing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I know what I'm saying, but this is going adjacent to residential development, and I disagree.
If it's
When somebody
properly within
comes
the
in,
zoning.
Pardon?
It fits properly within the zoning of the
Yeah,
area.
it's properly, but it also, in that case, the plan was commercial and residential. And we had neighbors showing up here that were quite concerned about the development, the design of it, what was going in, what the commercial was going to be used for. So, a commercial development next to a residential development can quite easily spark, concerns and questions of the, people with homes next door. Yeah. This is no different, even though it's properly zoned for it.
Well, exactly. It's no different. Exactly. It's having residential on the property or abutting, it's no different. The tone is the same.
Well,
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I feel like it's the same.
yeah, no, I disagree with you. I think it's not the same.
Well, those were your words, not mine. No different.
It's-
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Perhaps you misunderstood.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I think you did.
we're having a discussion, of course.
The end results, who's gonna, can we change anything? Can we make them do anything different?
It has to be approved. I mean.
It has to be approved.
It has to be a public hearing.
The public hearing can, if the public decides that they don't want it, then we can still have it if we want it. It's
If that's the decision of the board.
a decision for.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that,
Well, my 2 cents is, obviously, given there's differing opinions from the board itself, it's a gray area. In my opinion, when it's a gray area, why don't you err on the side of caution as opposed to not? And that's kind of my take on it. I personally don't necessarily disagree with the plan, but I'm more concerned about protecting the town, and when there's a gray area, I think we should proceed cautiously then.
And it does change what the neighbors were planning to see and be around. So. I think
Mr.
that's-
Ursullo, you were going to say something a few minutes ago.
Ask for a motion.
Okay.
To accept the change. Either way, minor or maybe whoever makes the motion.
Okay.
Have a vote on it. Vote pass it.
Mr. Chairman, just before, I just wanted to mention that the affordable housing component of the project was partially built. It's right up the road here on that 40 Farnham. So they fulfilled their obligation as far as that, even though by eliminating the residential component, I guess that is no longer a requirement, but they did build or will build 4 LMI units. And we're also looking to, that's another project entirely that will have to be addressed.
Well, Mr. Ursullo, would it be appropriate to poll the board to see who's going to make the motion, depending on the general impression of the board?
Well, I think you can ask for the motion.
Okay,
When you
well,
vote
when
on
you
it,
get,
the motion- Say they vote for a minor, the motion's made for a minor.
I understand that. I'm trying to avoid that. That's why I wanted.
I make a motion that, that this is a major change and not a minor change.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye.
Not in favor?
Let's do, roll call. Sure. And then we vote.
yeah, sure.
For record purposes, let's poll, so we know who voted.
Okay. Let's have a poll. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 You have to vote.
No.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Passes.
Now, we're going to return to the plan, to the treat as a major change.
Thank you.
Going to.
It's still just a term, it's just a term. Is it gonna be able to be denied or not be denied? That's not.
Well, it could be denied by the administratively if it wasn't appropriate.
Yes. If he can't do what he wants to do.
I can't hear you.
I'm totally confused on the what. No.
So
Just a word that would, the word major and minor, is that what we're upset about? What is?
No.
Right, so the changes being proposed are
considered, based on the vote of the board, 7-2, that they're considered major changes, which means it's treated as it has to come back with a public hearing to this board to review those changes for this board to approve and see his proposal and the use of it. If the board approves those changes at hearing, his changes, move forward with that project. If the board does not approve those changes, he has the right to continue with the project that he has, or wipe everything out and start over.
It's the public hearing component that is the change. I mean, from minor to major is that the major has a public hearing, but the minor really just goes to Mike.
Right. Mike would have continued to do this change administratively.
But if we did minor, it would just go to Mike and then Mike.
That's right.
There's nothing. We wouldn't see it.
You want to say, okay.
So you only see what was given today, like you don't see additional. So now it's gonna go back to like the process.
You'll see what the building looks like. You'll see what the design is. You'll look where the driveway is. You'll see what the flex building, I think it's called, is gonna look like, all that.
Thank you. The last matter is the Carolina project, formerly Helping Hands, ID 2206. Comprehensive permit application, minor subdivision project.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Timothy Behan, professional engineer with the firm Commonwealth Engineers and Consultants, Providence, Rhode Island. We're here tonight for the project, the Carolina development. I'm representing La Nonia Construction LLC. And we were last in front of the planning board back in, it says here, May of 2023, where we received preliminary plan approval. And tonight we're up for final plan approval. At the last hearing, there was 2 conditions placed on the project. One was for moving the retaining wall 15 feet behind lot number 4's house. And the second condition was to provide a different type of driveway to enable the cars to back up and exit the driveway onto the street head first, so they can make that maneuver. So I'll just walk you through the print. Everybody can see that. That's the existing conditions plan, just to refresh your memory. We've got Leland Maury down here and Hillside Street over here. There was 3 existing dwelling buildings. Oh, all right, thank you. There was 3 existing dwelling buildings which have been taken down, and there was a little portion of the actual street on the property there. Under the proposed plan, it was subdivided into 4 lots. The little section of the road on the subject property was subdivided out, so that's now part of the proposed street right away. We have 4 dwellings, each serviced with public water, public sewer, and we rearranged the driveways so they actually park sideways here and they can back up and out each of the driveways there. And there was an embankment at this location with a boulder wall at the base, and that has been shifted back, so it's 15 feet off the foundation as requested. That was a stipulation. Yeah. Yes, exactly. We made those changes, and the only other thing was we filed the DEM freshwater wetlands permit. We fell in the jurisdiction for a permit. We have that in hand. And we're here just to receive final plan approval. No.
Any questions of the board members? No. Without any questions, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All not in favor? The ayes have it. Motion passed.
Thank you very much.
All
right.
Thank you for listening.
All right.
That was helpful, that layout you did.
Do we have a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All not in favor? The ayes have it, adjourned.